It was 2:46 a.m. She had gone to bed early, exhausted from work. Her apartment was quiet, the kind of quiet that feels normal until something breaks it. She woke up to a faint creaking sound. At first, she thought it was the floorboards. Then she heard it again. Creak. Closer. Slower. More deliberate. She froze, heart racing. And then she saw him, a man sitting calmly in her living room chair, wide awake, staring. He hadn't noticed her yet. Her first instinct was panic. Her next instinct was disbelief. Am I dreaming? But the details were too sharp. The chair squeaked slightly under his weight. The dim lamp reflected in his eyes. He wasn't a shadow. He was real, and he was there. Her body refused to move. Every instinct screamed to run, but her mind, it froze. She didn't dare make a sound. The man didn't move either. He just sat, staring, waiting. Minutes felt like hours. Her breathing became shallow. Her eyes searched for anything she could use as a weapon, a phone, a lamp, a kitchen knife, anything. She finally noticed her phone on the nightstand. It was just out of reach. Reaching for it meant he might notice her, but she had no choice. Slowly, she inched toward it, her fingers barely brushing the edge, and that's when he finally spoke. "Don't move." His voice was calm, almost eerily normal. It wasn't threatening in tone, yet it carried power. She froze. Her mind raced. Who is he? How did he get in? What does he want? Then came a whisper. "Relax. I'm not here to hurt you." Her heart pounded faster. Not relief, suspicion. Every true horror story she had ever heard ran through her mind. And then she realized something. He wasn't making a move. He wasn't taking anything. He was just sitting, observing. She finally mustered the courage to speak. Who are you?" He didn't answer immediately, just stared. Then slowly he said, "I'm someone who knows things about you." Her stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" she whispered. He shifted in the chair, leaning slightly forward. "I know you live alone. I know your routine. I know what you fear the most." Every word felt measured, every sentence deliberate. Her mind raced. Was this a stalker? A burglar? Or something worse? She noticed a notebook on the coffee table. It wasn't there before. He opened it, flipping pages. Every page had details about her life, daily routines, places she visited, even things she thought were private. She realized something terrifying. This wasn't random. This was intentional, and it had been planned. "You've been careful," he said, almost like a compliment, "but I always notice patterns." Her phone was still just out of reach. She thought about calling the police, but what if he heard her? What if any sudden move triggered something worse? The next minutes felt endless, until suddenly he stood up, slow, calm, controlled, and then he walked to the door, stopped, turned back slightly. "You'll see me again," he said, and disappeared into the shadows of the hallway. She ran to the door, peeking outside. Nothing. No one. Just silence. She locked the door immediately, then checked all the windows. Everything was normal. No signs of forced entry, no footprints, nothing. Her mind refused to accept it. How had he entered? How had he left without leaving a trace? The next morning, she called the building manager. "Has anyone complained about strangers in their apartments?" she asked. The manager hesitated, just a brief pause. "No, not that I know of," he replied quickly. Something about that answer felt off. Her unease only grew as she started noticing small things. Doors slightly ajar, lights she was sure she turned off, now on, Her belongings subtly moved, but every time she thought she was imagining it, there was proof. A notebook left on the coffee table, empty. She didn't remember putting it there, and yet she had a faint memory of seeing someone write in it. Her mind began playing tricks on her. Was she really alone, or had someone truly been inside her home? Every night became a test. Every creak, every shadow, a potential threat. Sleep became impossible, and she started noticing something worse. It wasn't just the fear of him coming back. It was the fear that she could never feel safe again. Her apartment, her sanctuary, had become a trap for her own mind. After days of sleepless nights, she finally called a professional. Not the police, not a detective, a licensed home security and building inspector. They checked every entrance, every lock, every possible point of entry. Nothing. No forced entry, no signs of tampering, no hidden access points. And then the inspector did something unusual. He asked her about the building's history, old tenants, maintenance reports, strange incidents. A few minutes of digging revealed something unsettling. The previous tenant had similar complaints: odd noises, things out of place, feeling like someone was watching them at night. The building itself had quirks: old wooden floors that creaked in specific ways, heating vents that shifted air and created whispering sounds, drafts that moved curtains or rattled objects. The noises, the moving objects, the feeling of presence, all had logical explanations, but the fear she felt was real. Because the human mind doesn't only respond to reality, it responds to expectation, pattern, and anticipation. Once she had been startled once, her brain associated subtle cues, floorboards, drafts, shadows, with danger, even when nothing was there. The intruder she thought she saw wasn't real. Her mind had filled in the blanks perfectly. And that's the chilling part. The brain can make reality terrifying, even when everything is completely safe. Even after the explanation, she couldn't stop checking the door. She couldn't stop listening to the floorboards. Because fear isn't erased by logic. It lingers. And sometimes, the scariest thing in your home is your own mind. Even after everything was explained, even after the inspector showed her every harmless cause, she still couldn't sleep peacefully. Every creak, every shadow, every draft, her mind immediately filled in the gaps. The fear had become instinct. She realized something she hadn't expected. The mind doesn't just react to danger, it reacts to anticipation. Once it learns a pattern of fear, it doesn't forget easily. The apartment wasn't haunted, the intruder wasn't real, the notebook didn't belong to a stranger. It was all her mind, playing a story, creating suspense, filling silence with terror. And that's the lesson. The scariest things aren't always outside of us. Sometimes they're already inside. And the question that lingers is simple. If you were alone tonight in a quiet apartment, would your mind let you sleep? Or would it write its own horror story?